All right, 6-6. So you'll see this on the quiz next week on Thursday. The trees, 6-5 today, and then Wednesday. We'll come on back and make mixed numbers, improper fractions, and improper fractions, mixed numbers. Okay, so simplifying fractions, I was just explaining the whole purpose of greatest common factors is for this exact purpose, simplify fractions. I think at least all of you that were with me last year, we went through this, and I'm certain, Savannah, you went through simplifying fractions too last year over there. So 7 through 24 are just yes or no things here. And an S is the fraction in lowest terms. And that means, is it simplified? That's what we call it there. We say simplify these things. 25 through 48, we can just cycle back to 7 through 24 and do it later. But 25, not 25. I'd rather do 28 to start with. 28. 3 over 18. So all these fractions here, 25 through 48, they do need to be simplified. And how do we know if something needs to be simplified? It's pretty simple. I look at the numerator and denominator. Basically, I got a 3 and an 18 there. 3 on top, 18 on the bottom. And I ask myself, is there anything I can divide into those two numbers other than 1? Because dividing by 1 isn't going to change anything. If the answer is yes, then I can simplify the fraction. Basically, if I'm saying if it has a greatest common factor between 3 and 18 other than 1, I need to divide that into the fraction. And of course, we should know the greatest common factor between 3 and 18 is 3, right? Yeah. So I can divide both of these by 3. And if I do that, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 18 divided by 3 is 6. The simplified fraction of 3 over 18 is 1/6. They are equivalent. I haven't changed the fraction at all. It's still the same parts of a whole, in a sense. It has the same value. So they are equivalent. They are equal fractions. And that's really about it. Bigger ones here, I mean, if I showed you this example, I think, before here, back to 25 here, we have 18 over 36. And again, looking at it, I think we're pretty clear that it's 1/2. We can divide 18. But we could, as long as we can find any common factor, if it's too big or something, we can break it down in pieces here. I could divide it by 3. I could divide both of these by 3, and then I end up with 6 over 12, which simplified somewhat. But I should, again, be able to look at it, divide this by 2, or whatever you see, 3, 6, and then divide by 3 again. I still get to 1/2. For my purposes, pretty much going forward here, I mean, if you need to simplify, and this is your deal, and I just want to see the 1/2. How you get there, I don't get too worked up about it here. Greatest common factor, if you see it, awesome. But just being able to divide by 2, 3, and 5, recognize they're both even numbers, they're both divisible by 3, they're both divisible by 5. I mean, we'll get you through 95% of your simplifying life, the rest of your life. If you can at least make that recognition of your values here. So, greatest common factor, it's awesome, it's great. I don't really know if it's practical every time you want to divide something to build trees every time. I certainly could build trees for 18 and 36. Fun, isn't it? And then take what they all have in common, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3 times 3 times 2, the GCF is 18. But let's be realistic here. Are we going to build trees every single time we need to simplify a fraction? We are not. So we will not do that. That makes no sense. So that's why 2, 3, and 5. Even if it's some gigantic thing here, 2s, 3s, and 5s, you can start breaking it down. Once you get down into some double-digit things here, nothing's going to slow you down. I mean, Make sense? That's the whole deal for today. So I guess we'll throw a few out there. We can run around here. We'll all do a yes or no. That is very fuzzy. Fuzzy. Okay, that looks better. So I'll just point at one. If it can be simplified, is the fraction simplified? You say yes. If it's not simplified, say no. Simplify it if necessary. I'll just point this out. Number 9. Who wants to start? Damien. Maurice.
It's not simplified.
Yeah, and what could I simplify it to?
1/2.
Right. Number 10, Savannah.
It's not.
What could I divide into both 5 and 10?
2. 5.
Right. What's 5 divided by 5? 5 divided by 5. 1. And then, so that would be on top. And then what's 10 divided by 5?
2.
And there's my answer. We've simplified it. Sierra, number 11. Yep, the greatest common factor between 3 and 10 is 1. I can't divide anything else. That's simplified. 13, Evangeline.
It's not.
Nope.
You can do it 2, 1/3.
Right. I can divide both of these by 7. 14, Sig.
14,
Yeah.
12, and 25. Can't do it.
That's as simple as it gets, right? The greatest common factor is 1. 6 over 21, Dom.
No. You can simplify that to 2, 7.
Right. Greatest common factor is 3. Divide 6 by 3 is 2. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 17, Brooke.
It is not. You can simplify it. You can simplify it to 2/3.
Right. Greatest common factor is 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3. You could have divided by 2, but then you'd have to divide by 3 next. If you divided by 3 first, you'd divide by 2 second. Because in a way, dividing by 3, then dividing by 2 is the same thing as dividing by 6. It is. That's why it would take you 2 steps if you divide by 2 or 3. Jackson, 22.
It's not simplified, and you can break it down. To start with 2's, you can make it 12 17ths.
Yep, and that's it. Greatest common factor is 2. It's the only thing you can divide into both 24 and 34.
About 9.
And then you can't go to 34.
Or 24.
Or 24.
Oh.
24 over 34. Right. Were you looking at 24? Maybe you were looking at that
6
one.
goes into 24.
Yep, 6 goes
Oh,
into
9
20.
goes into 34 or 36?
36.
They always add
Okay,
up to
okay,
9.
I got that messed up. Okay. Never mind.
So, just yes or no, and then the second part is just they need to be simplified. So I'll give you each one to simplify, and I don't really have much more to this lesson to say. Sorry, it's not real exciting. I promise you we'll have more exciting days in the future. So please attempt these. 8 of you all get one. Simplify each.
I wrote down all the problems that we did.
Yeah, that's fine.
these not simplified?
Can you go up? I
Correct.
wasn't going the right way, so I can't see
Yeah,
right
I
now.
will. I'm just finishing it off here. Save.
Wait,
So, yes, they all need to be simplified. No, this is not trick questions. They all need to be simplified. And as long as you get the simplified answer, whatever your process was to get there, I like it. If you like solving division problems, you'll love the end of this chapter. Lots of division problems coming up later on this chapter. Many division bars will be set and solved.
Oh, I should be on our face for you.
With decimals.
No, you did that last chapter.
Oh,
Oh, I don't mind though.
we're taking it up a notch a little bit
No.
later. It's coming. We'll have a good 4 or 5 days
Stop
of
whining.
heavy division work in our future coming. It's coming down the pipeline.
Dang.
Right, it's coming. I promise. Yep, for division and non-division lovers. Where do we go? Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
look how it's going. Just down the line.
I just
What
did
I
like
did.
this.
Yeah, this is what I did.
I
Just like,
yeah.
let's take a waste of a page though.
Chapter 8.
It's a
Oh,
waste of a tree.
Well, now I have all
My
this.
uncle once had to write a check of 1 cent.
okay.
And he said it was
Savannah, which one do you want to do?
Why? The paper. I could have bought the paper.
Which one?
yeah.
Why? There's 1 cent that big.
That one?
So who won it?
All right.
Oh, it's all the taxes. You gotta pay for
It was like
Ready to go through them?
sure.
All right, Savannah, 27.
1/3.
How'd you get it?
So I did,
I died.
8 goes into 16 and 40. 8, so 8 goes into 16 2 times.
Yep.
And then, 6 goes into 48 6 times.
Yep.
And it goes in. And then, how many times does 2 go into 2 once?
Yep.
And then, how many times does 2 go into 6 in it? So, how many times does 2 go into 6 in it?
You got it. That's perfect. And I like setting them up this way. I just kind of write my division rule and their equivalent back to our equivalent fractions. As long as you do the same multiplying or dividing, we're not going to use any multiplying here. We're trying to simplify things, not. So it's only going to be division on the table. But as long as I divide by the same thing to both the numerator and denominator, then we're good in the math rules world here. If I divide this by 6 and this by 8 or something, well, then we're not equal anymore. I've taken more from one and the other, and the scale isn't so balanced anymore. But as long as I do exactly the same thing, divide the exact same number to both my top and bottom number and my fraction, then we're good here. Math says that's okay. You can do that. That's okay. There's a lot of things math says you can't do, but this is something math says we can do. That's okay. And again, taking it 1, 2, as many steps as you need, that is excellent. Good job. Okay, 29, Damien.
Okay, so
What did you divide by?
Oh, I divided by 2.
Okay.
So I got 8 and 10,
Yep.
and then I divided it, or not divided, simplified it more, and I got 4/5.
Right, divide by 2 again, and ultimately come up with 4/5. Yep. All right, 30, Jackson.
30, okay. 9/45, well, 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 45 divided by 9 is 5, so 1/5.
Right. Divide by 9, or the other path would have been dividing by 3 twice. Would have got 3/15. Divide by 3 again. Okay, 33, Evangeline.
So I got 2/5.
Yep, how'd you get it?
I divided them by 10,
Yep,
which equals
right. You could have divided by 2, then 5. I mean, realistically, dividing by 10 is one of the easiest things to see, so. Right, divide by 10. Whoop, and we're done. 36, Sig.
I divided by 6.
Yep,
So 12 has 2 6s, and 30 is 5, so 2/5.
yep. And again, 2-step, divide by 3, then divide by 2, or divide by 2, then divide by 3 would work. 38, Brooke.
I divided by 5, and I got 6/11.
Yep, divided by 5 is the only path to success here, so. But again, I think without too much struggle, most people would determine that both those numbers divide by 5. 39, Dom.
39, I divided by 7, and I got 1/3. Wait,
14 divided by 7
2
doesn't.
6,
Okay.
and then I divided by 2,
Yep.
then I got 1/3.
There you go, 1/3, right? Divide by 14, or by 7, then 2, or divide by 2, then divide by 7. Happened one of those ways. All right, good. 48, Sierra.
I got 4/7.
Yep,
I divided by 4, so 4 goes in 16 4 times, and then 4 goes in 28 7 times.
right. That's the greatest common factor. You also could have got there by dividing by 2, and then dividing by 2 again. Would have got you there, so. Any questions?
No.
Okay, that's all I got for you.